going on, guys? This is Riggs, and thank you so much for tuning in to the very next PUBG mobile video. Now, in today's video, we're going to be talking about the meta and how much the meta has changed. One thing that I'm seeing run rampant, not only in the comment section, but all over Twitter and social media, and that is, of course, the UMP. So we're definitely going to be talking about that. Big shouts to Bushka, by the way. I knew that he was going to drop the UMP video, and I'm so glad that he did. The dude's an absolute, he is a madman when it comes to testing, when it comes to data on weapons, rate of fire, bullet speed, all that good stuff, damage. So make sure you guys check him out if you have not already. If you guys want to see more videos like this, the best way to support me and to support the channel is to make sure you guys go ahead and drop a like on the video. And of course, if you would like, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. What I really want to do is I want to discuss the meta and how much the meta has changed, things I've noticed, and if we like the direction of where the meta is going. What, out of all the weapons that we're going to be talking about on the list today, what is your favorite weapon that you use now that you didn't really use before since the update? My most favorite weapon that I think they've buffed out of all of them, right, has to be the UMP. I just think it's I think it's absolutely hilarious. The UMP used to be a meme, right? Like a straight up meme. I mean, it hit like a wet noodle. It's gone from a wet noodle to now hitting like an absolute truck. Has now been able, because of this update, has now been able to find its way kind of back into the meta. So I absolutely love what they've done with that. And the big reason for this is the rate of fire. A lot of weapons received a rate of fire buff. For those of you guys that played this game when it first came out, of course, it was the UMP 9. And then from the UMP 9, it became the UMP 45, where we had the Vector and the UMP basically swap ammo. And basically, nobody picked up and played with the UMP ever. It does what it's supposed to do well, which is win you close quarter combat fights, right? That's what it's for. It's not made to snipe with. It's not made for mid. It does what it's supposed to do well. And what I think they really nailed in this new update is they made a lot more weapons more viable than what they used to be. Again, that's kind of the overall theme. So we all know that the UMP used to be a meme. Now it's not. It's actually a lot of fun to use it. If you haven't used it, I highly suggest you go ahead and give it a try. The next thing is the brand new weapon, which is the crate weapon. And we're going to talk about the M249 in a second. But I'm sure if you haven't heard by now, we got the MG3. Not only does it sound amazing, it performs even more amazing. And the fact that it has two different rates of fire, 660 and 990. 990 typically is what you're going to be using when you're, just a general rule of thumb, 990 is close quarters. 660 is when you're shooting mid, and even if you're proned out, it is, and you're an LMG. If you're proned out with the bipod with that drastically reduced recoil, you can even hit shots long range if you go ahead and toggle the rate of fire on this weapon. We have the MG3, which is an absolute monster in close quarter combat. So you guys kind of see a theme going here. It's only found in the crates, or in the airdrops, okay? So if you're trying to find this in a world spawn, it's not going to happen. However, speaking of world spawn, we have the M249. Now, it's been out for PC for a minute, but the M249, the fact that that thing is a world spawn now, and not only, before when it was in the crates, I know it was nerfed a little bit, but the fact that you can actually put attachments on it, you can put a stock on it, and you could also put an extended quick draw mag. So off the ground, it's 75 rounds. You pick it up, it's 50. You go ahead and hit reload, it goes to 75. If you put an extended or extended quick draw in it, it's 150 rounds. And the biggest thing is, one thing we don't talk about enough with these weapons is reload. However, with 150 rounds, you don't even have to. You have the MG3 with 75 rounds. You have, in a magazine. You have the M249 in the drum. You have 150. That's crazy. Think about how long it's going to take you to chew through 150 rounds. It is more than enough to chew through a squad. Again, an M249, say what you want, you can use that thing mid-range too. I mean, it has a decent recoil considering, you know, it's made for CQC. So again, you see the overall running theme as far as what they've done just from one update to the next in the 1.5 Misignition update, what we see happening with close quarter combat fights, right? Then we have the AKM, another weapon where the rate of fire has increased. It now has the same rate of fire, shout out to Bushka, it has the same rate of fire as the M4. That is crazy. Of course, you know, recoil control is going to be, you know, recoil pattern is going to be totally different. You know, that's a different conversation. But as far as rate of fire, again, the AKM doing what it's supposed to do best. Even though the damage stayed the same, the rate of fire has increased. Again, another buff. Now, we all know that the M762 had a slight nerf, but it was inadvertent in a sense because what was going on with M762 wasn't supposed to happen from the get-go. That's why there's a huge adjustment in this 1.5 patch, which is rate of fire based on the frame rate of your phone, 60 FPS versus 90 FPS. So the M762 basically does now what it was always supposed to do. Don't pick up the M762 and think, don't pick up that weapon and think like, oh damn, you know, I have that. It hits like a truck still. Again, the overall theme of these weapons, not to mention, you still have the Uzi, which has an insane rate of fire. You're not going to be wiping a squad with it, but especially in solos and in duos, or if you're running a still very, very famous comp is running an Uzi, like an Uzi M4, or just another, you know, fully automatic assault rifle with the Uzi. So you go ahead, you knock one or two, and boom, you do the weapon switch, and you go ahead and you know, finish the job with your other weapon. In the event you can't reload. So the fact that they've buffed all the CQC weapons left me thinking about the long range weapons, right? Thinking about, well, the ARMS, you know, in a class all by itself. But as far as the Kar 98, the M24, the Mosin Nagant, which is very, very difficult to find anyway, plus it's not available on all the maps. What I'm really wondering is are you guys, after this update, are you guys happy with this current meta? Because what I see, you know, on the notes, on the infographics, what I see is a straight buff, for the most part, on all the CQC weapons, right? That's what we have seen. We've seen a buff on the majority of the close quarter combat weapons in this game. Yet, long range weapons, we haven't seen anything. Especially, you know, everyone's talking about, or not everyone, but a lot of people talk about how they're kind of tired of the M4 spray meta. They want to bring back, you know, bolt actions, make bolt actions viable again. And we haven't seen anything change as far as recoil patterns. We haven't seen a nerf. It's very controversial to even say it, but I almost, on one side of the coin, I want to see the M4 nerf, right? I want to see it like a little bit more difficult where you can't just hit, you know, a 200 meter spray or a 250 meter spray. But then again, on the other side of the coin, if you nerf basically the most famous and the most used weapon in the game, would you be okay with that? You know, I feel like, you know, the community's kind of divided. You know, half will say, you know, yes, go ahead and nerf it. We don't like this. You know, we want to bring back bolt actions. We want to bring back or introduce a new meta to the game. But on the other side, you go ahead and nerf, you know, those mid to long range sprays. You're gonna upset a lot of people as well. So, but anyway, that was a quick little meta talk that I wanted to have with you guys. This, without a doubt, was the biggest change that we've ever gone through, and I want to know your guys' feedback. But until the very next one, this has been Riggs from ŁØBx Gaming.